Okay, so we just left the event.
So bad.
I think we were just saying that we think that we've actually hit rock bottom.
No, it was actually.
We think we've actually hit rock bottom, and I think we were either punked, catfished,
like
or...
it felt like a sick joke. I was like, literally thinking to myself, like, why am I, like, how did I get here?
How did I get here?
Look at what's going on. When you're going out to clubs, single events, there's not going to be a lot of men there. Okay? It's going to be a lot of women. All right? We were lied to. Our aunties, mamas, they lied to us. They said we had tons of time. They said we could do whatever we wanted to do, get your career and do this, that. And look what's happening. Look at these single events being all women. And it's probably not going to be the top of the pop crowd that the men are looking for. They're not looking for a lot of single, bitter women.
All right, guys, gotta talk about this interesting story from this individual, okay, who will be describing her speed dating experience. Take a look.
They can't find men to come to this event. Then I started thinking about it and I was like, I don't know.
First, let me say, you're going to look amazing in that dress, baby. That dress eats down. Unfortunately, though, you correct about men and speed dating. I did one speed dating event. I live in the Washington, D.C. area. And let's just say that the men who are at speed dating events are the men who have to be at speed dating events.
So right off the bat, I love the way she's framing this. Well, the men have to be there, but what about the women, right? I mean, do the women have to be there? I mean, obviously, both genders are there for a particular reason, right? I'm just saying. And I would make the argument that, you know, as a woman, you know, especially if you're at a speed dating event of a certain age, okay, you're over the age of 30, 35. I would make the argument that it's even worse. It really is, because to please a man is embarrassingly simple. It really is. Take a shower regularly, be pleasant to be around, and have a gym membership, okay? If you have those three things, yeah, you're pretty much good to go, because more or less men are saying to themselves, can I work with this? Can I work with this particular individual? Versus trying to disqualify women over trivial things. So let's change the position that only men have to be there. No, the women that are there have to be there as well.
If the marketing team and the event coordinators and planners and stuff, they're really advertising towards men and really marketing to them, then maybe there is a good chance they also might be offering them some discounts. Because $150 is a lot of money. And unfortunately, men don't feel the same pressure or the same like inclination to want to do singles mixers and speed dating events like that to meet a partner. They don't really do that until they have to do that, which means that they're divorced twice, got 7 kids, and ugly, and fat, and overweight, and in their 50s. Because that's who was at my speed dating event. Also, if you first of all, you paid $150, so your event needs to be real nice. I paid $20 for my ticket, and our host had talking points. So we each had like a little sheet, maybe like 5 questions or something like that, that when we got to a new person, we can kind of like ask them one of those talking point questions to help facilitate conversation. And I'm pretty sure each of us had a different paper. So when you meet a person, those 10 questions between the two of you that you guys can talk about and ask. I think we maybe had 2 or 3 minutes per person. If your event is going to be 50 people, like per like man, 50 men, 50 women, I doubt y'all are going to rotate through all 50 people, because that's a lot. 3 minutes with 50 people? I ain't no mathematician, but it's not a lot of time. So for our event, it was a venue. They had food and drink. And we did like icebreaker type of things. We did group and like team kind of things, so that we were all kind of mixing and mingling. And then it was kind of like sandwiched between the speed dating itself. And then we also did some type of little icebreaking. It's not icebreaking at that point. We did some type of little socially type of game thing after that. So it was real cool. Overall, I'll give my speed dating experience a 7 out of 10. The host is really good, really well organized. As far as meeting a match, didn't do that. But I did meet some really awesome women, some really cool girlfriends. We exchanged numbers and made plans to hang out afterwards. So I hope that you have a really great time. You're going to look amazing. But I would just like have fun with it. You're going to meet some interesting people for sure. But I wouldn't go into it with a really high expectation of like, oh, I'm gonna meet my man. I mean, you can if you want to, but I think that would just be my advice, is not to do that, because you could end up like disappointed.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, because specifically, she said her ticket was $20, but general admission is $150. Okay, what man worth a damn is going to spend $150 to try to impress a room full of entitled, bitter women? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Okay, because there's going to be hypergamy there. You know, you're going to have to sell yourself to entitled women. The women that are there are probably not even 9s and 10s. Okay, big back women probably gonna be there, and you're just putting yourself in a position where it's like, really, am I really doing this right now? Do I really have to do this? Okay, I think if you have an abundance mindset, you know, you've put the work in as a man, yeah, you have the right to not deal with this type of nonsense. Okay, the whole point of developing yourself and improving yourself as an individual is to have a better quality of life, right? To have a better quality of life so that you don't have to be in these positions. All right, guys, so the next clip is going to be a woman that has created a, I guess, checklist of why men don't go to single dating events. Take a look.
Here are my theories on why men do not go to singles events. I'm going to give you a breakdown of 4 different pools or categories that they all fall in, and I'll just kind of go into detail about why they're in this category. So one of my mutuals said that she went to a singles event recently and she noticed that a lot of men don't show up to them, and just that the ratio of men to women is off by a lot. So category number 1 is the men who do not need to be there. So I call these the all-around great men. So the all-around great man consists of good character, emotional availability, emotionally in tune, career-oriented, family-oriented, monogamous, just all around a kind, caring, good man. So that pool of man does not need to go to singles events. They don't need to be on dating apps because their energy and everything about them is just going to exude out in the world, and they're going to attract women everywhere they go. So this means like at work, if they're at the gym, if they're at a sporting event, like if they play on a rec league, women are just going to gravitate towards them because they can feel the energy, they can feel that he's a good guy, and they're going to want to date him. So those men, they're not going to be on dating apps, they're not going to be at singles events because they just do not need to. They're going to find their women in everyday life. Number 2 is the bachelor for life. So the bachelor for life obviously does not need to go to a singles event because he is not looking for a relationship. This is the situationship type of guy. This is the guy that is constantly going through the cycle of talking stage, first date, situationship, talking stage, first date, situationship. And it just is a continuous circle because they're not looking for a relationship. And the reason these men are so successful at the situationship or bachelor for life lifestyle is because they lead with, I could possibly get into a relationship with you, but their intention is to never actually be in a relationship. So they keep women hanging on just by a little bit. Like they throw crumbs enough for the woman to think that one day he'll come around. These men are also single for life because they have this idea of a perfect woman in their head that doesn't exist. So from all of the women that they've dated, they take little pieces of their personality that they would want in their ideal woman. But because the ideal woman doesn't exist, they'll never find her. So they just constantly go from woman to woman, hoping to find the perfect woman, to find a woman to fit in that box that they've created, but it just does not exist. So they just repeat the cycle of first dates, talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, and no woman is ever good enough to give commitment to or be in a relationship with. So these men are not going to be at singles events because they a lot of times are in friend groups that are co-ed friend groups where the lines are blurred between romantic and friendship. So the friend groups are very like flirtatious. You're not sure if like his girl best friend is actually his best friend and things like that. So the third pool of guys are the guys who have a fear of rejection. So a lot of men can have fear of rejection for many different things, but I'll give you the top 2 in my book. Again, all of these are just my opinion. So number 1 would be the man who's never approached a woman a day in his life. And because he's never done that, the fear of rejection has grown and grown and grown as the years have gone by. So this means like middle school, high school, college, and adult life, he's never approached a woman. So because he's gone so long inflating this idea of what rejection will be like, the fear of rejection has become so big that it trumps him ever approaching a woman. And it's interesting because women are socialized to let men down kindly because, for one, we're scared of being, you know what, if we say no. And number two, we're also just socialized to be kind or to be nice even when we're uncomfortable and we don't want to be kind and nice. So that fear of rejection is just irrational in my opinion, because most women do let men down kindly. And I'm not going to say there aren't women who can be mean when they let them down, but I do believe that it's warranted because we have evidence of women literally being unalived just by telling a man no. So there are men who just have that fear of rejection and would never put themselves in a place to be rejected. Another man that would be in the pool of the fear of rejection is a man who has been rejected a lot in his life and he's just over that. So because he's been rejected so much and he's trying to avoid further rejection, he's not going to put himself in a situation where there is ample room for rejection, like something like a singles dating event. The last pool of men are the men whose egos will not allow them to be at something like a dating event. It could be because they think they're too good for it, or because they just don't want to be seen asking for help. To conclude all of that, I also think there are men out there who just don't care to date and don't want to date, and that's why there's a hard time in bringing them into something like a singles event.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about that. Okay, do you guys agree with her list, or is it just completely off? Okay, let me know. I mean, I'm looking at her list here, all around great men. I think that's probably the only one that I agree with. Okay, bachelor for life. I mean, if you're a bachelor for life, you know, going to a singles dating event may not sound like a bad idea, right? Because, you know, the women that go to these events are probably desperate for love. Okay, they're probably searching high and low for love. They've probably hit rock bottom when it comes to finding a significant other. So bachelor for life, you know, hey, that might be a great spot to pick women up. I'm just saying. Okay, fear of rejection. I don't know. I think men, generally speaking, get rejected every day, right? Not every day, every week, every month, every year. Men are constantly being rejected. Okay, after a while, it just hardens you and you're just kind of used to it. Obviously, you know, there might be some guys out there that just can't take rejection, but for the most part, we're pretty much immune to the rejection. So I don't think it's a fear of rejection. And then the last one is ego here, but I think it's just men are simply checking out when it comes to dating. Okay, that's really what it is. Okay, it's not just these single dating events. It's cold approaching, taking women on dates. Okay, it's putting yourself out there and dealing with these bitter, self-entitled women. Okay, that's just what it is. It's just not limited to single dating events, but it's just across the board. Women have demonized men for so many years, saying that they don't need a man. They're good on their own, this, that, and the third. And men are saying, okay, cool, no problem, right? I'll check out of dating and I'll allow you to be the boss babe, independent queen that you claim to be. I'm just saying, and any man worth a damn is not going to go to these single dating events. More and more men are just simply protecting their peace, right? And if you impede and disrupt my peace, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's as simple as that. Okay, to the guys out there that do value relationships and marriages, are looking for a woman that's fit, feminine, and friendly. And chances are you're probably not gonna find that at a singles dating event.